Welcome to the Green Solvents Podcast, brought to you by TBF Environmental Technologies, home of solvents for a green earth. Now, here's your host.
Well, yes, this is your host, Erik Reynolds, and I'm here again with Dave Pasin, president of TBF Environmental, and today we're talking with Dave about ZemaSol and its general use, including what it is, examples of known toxic solvents ZemaSol can be used as an alternative for, when should a customer consider ZemaSol as an alternative, in what type of products can ZemaSol be used as a solvent, and much more. Now, before Dave joins us, just as a reminder that if you have questions or require assistance, you can reach Dave at 604-580-1575. Again, that's 604-580-1575. Now, Dave, it's great to be talking with you again today.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to be here, excited about the conversation, so let's get straight to it. Let me ask you this question. What is ZemaSol?
ZemaSol is a non-hydrocarbon-based alternative green solvent for use to replace toxic solvents such as xylene, toluene, and common replacement solvents for xylene, tertiary butyl acetate, or TBAC, and parachlorotribenzofluoride, PCBTF.
Well, what are some examples of, say, known toxic solvents ZemaSol can be used as an alternative for?
ZemaSol can be used as an alternative to PCTBF, or Oxol 100 as it's commonly known as, and TBAC, which are both alternative solvents that are exempt in some areas. And in the case of PCBDF, it is exempt throughout the United States, but PCBTF or Oxol 100 has some very serious issues related to it, including density or weight per gallon, odor, solubility, that kind of thing. So it also is very costly. TBAC is costly, has better solvency than Oxol 100 or PCBTF, but it has other issues again, solvency being one of them, odor is another, and the fact that it isn't VOC exempt throughout the United States. So in the California Air Resources Board area, or CARB, or South Coast Air Quality Management District, which is the Los Angeles Basin, Squamish as it's popularly known as, TBAC is not an exempt solvent. PCBTF is exempt throughout the country. ZemaSol, I'm pleased to say, will be exempt throughout the United States and Canada. So it'll be a completely exempt solvent.
Now, Dave, we talked a little bit about xylene and toluene as an alternative. Now, when should a customer consider ZemaSol as an alternative to xylene or toluene?
ZemaSol should be considered an alternative anytime the customer wishes to meet or exceed current environmental guidelines for their volatile organic content of their compound, whether it be an ink, adhesive, or a paint or coating, for that matter. It can also be used to lower the VOC content of their output of manufacturing. Some states have VOC regulations that you can't exceed. In fact, we know one in Georgia. It's a glove manufacturer that it has to actually close down production because they can only use a certain amount of xylene per year. Because if they exceeded if they used more, it would exceed the state's allowable limit. So the ZemaSol should be used as an alternative to xylene and toluene when really the customer is looking to improve their environmental footprint, looking to meet or exceed government regulations, and wishes to offer a greener, safer product to their customer and the end user. And the other benefit, of course, is that it allows the manufacturer to improve the occupational health and safety of their own facility by using ZemaSol.
Now, in what type of products can ZemaSol be used as a solvent?
ZemaSol can be used in a wide variety of applications. It can be used in paints and coatings, and within paints and coatings, it can be used in epoxy, two-component epoxy coatings, or better, urethane-type coatings. It can be used in alkyd or oil-based type coatings. It can be used in phenolics. It can be used in polyaspartic type coatings. So it has a wide gamut of use in the paint and coatings industry. Within the ink industry, it can be used in the formulation of a variety of types of inks, as well as for cleaning equipment. And it can be used in the adhesives industry as a substitute for xylene or toluene. In the adhesives industry for formulations of different types of adhesives or glues.
Now, Dave, what about epoxy formulations? I mean, how is ZemaSol used there?
Epoxy is actually a really interesting use of ZemaSol because typically epoxies can come in 100% solids form to the end user, to the manufacturer, and then they will determine what percent of solids product they want to offer to a customer. Well, one of the problems with that is when you're using xylene or MEK for that matter in your formulation, your volatile organic content or VOC content is going to increase the more solvent you add. What ZemaSol allows the manufacturer to do is create a lower VOC material. So they can create a lower VOC material with less solvent and not affect the performance of the coating.
Now, Dave, before we go today, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, for people who are interested in the use of ZemaSol, they have to consider a variety of different things. What are they trying to achieve? What type of products they want to use it in? But if they're looking for an effective, safe alternative for Xylene and Toluene, then ZemaSol would be their cat. I think it far exceeds the benefits of PCBTF or Oxol 100 in that it's a standalone solvent, so it doesn't need an adjunct solvent like acetone to achieve viscosity. And there are a variety of issues related to the use of acetone with PCBTF. But also with TBAC, against TBAC, ZemaSol is a much more effective solvent. It has better solvency and solubility. So you're able to achieve the solids content of your coating or your ink or your adhesive in a far more efficient manner, which will save the manufacturer money.
Well, Dave, thanks so much for the conversation today, but unfortunately we are out of time. Now, for our listeners, if you know someone who would benefit from what we've talked about today, go ahead and share this podcast with them. I'm sure they'll thank you for it. Now, of course, you can visit Dave at his website at www.tbfenvironmental.com. That's www.tbfenvironmental.com. And you can always reach Dave by telephone at 604-580-1575. Again, that's 604-580-1575. Well, Dave, as always, for myself, for the listeners, thanks so much for the conversation today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening. At TBF Environmental Technologies, we manufacture solvents for a green earth. Contact TBF Environmental Technologies today, toll free at 877-658-3681. That's 877-658-3681. And on the web at tbfenvironmental.com. That's www.tbfenvironmental.com.